I'm the obstacle. I've been wanting to read on this for quite some time. We often are looking for solutions in our life, and I don't think that there's enough emphasis really being placed on what is the obstacle, the true obstacle, because we often label something outside of us as being the obstacle, and really its roots are somewhere within us, and that's what needs transformation. So I thought we'd bring through a pick a card read where we find out a little bit about the obstacle that you're facing now. And I wanted to bring this in because we are edging up at the time I'm recording this to that Lion's Gate initiation point. And it is a portal of transformation, but also really rooting something out of a place of potentiality into reality very strongly. A lot of alchemical energy coming through with this particular Lion's Gate and the way it's lining up. So I thought, you know, if there's going to be a pathway opening up, if the gateway is swinging open for us, that's an advantage, but there can be things that really hold us up if we're not aware of obstacles that need to be overcome and that we correctly identify them. So let's just see what comes through. We're going to view the reads as if our obstacle is communicating to us as we open up to the energy. So kind of personifying the obstacle, giving the obstacle a character, you could say. That's how it's wanting to come through in this read. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into it. So we're going to consult the Annals of Arcane BS to open this up, and then we'll dive into some Shadow Light Tarot to look at what has been alchemized that we can build upon, and what remains to be pulled up from the shadow into the exposure of the light so we can refine it, all right? So we're going to divide this into 3 separate reality tunnels of expression, okay? And I'm not going to put any kind of fancy schmancy identifying markers on the piles. I'm just going to cut them into 3 piles. First with the last pile, pile 3, okay? To the second pile here, and the first one will be whatever's left over, okay? And we're going to get a simple read of the obstacle because I don't want to focus so much on the obstacle. I just want to correctly identify it. And then from there, we'll go into a little read for each individual reality tunnel of expression here in relation to this obstacle to see what we need to do to address it. Forget about passing the buck and putting the focus outside of us. What do we need to do to overcome this obstacle? Because in some way, the obstacle itself is a master maker. It's supposed to pull something more out of us. It's there to strengthen our wiles, make us a little bit more clever, you know, think outside the box, figure out a new way to traverse something that may feel like an impossibility if we continue to view it from a past perspective. But there's a illumination coming in here, okay? So you got pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Pick your pile. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to dive right into it. And if you feel like picking more than one pile, you can do that too, okay? If more than one resonates with you. And you are free to open up to all the perspectives that come through as well, okay? However you want to work with the energy. Let's start out here. Let's look at the basis of the matter at 425 for those of you heading through this reality tunnel. There's the desire to move forward with a lot more authority over how you move forward in your life. This is something that I think for this particular pile really comes through as feeling like that authority or that power in some way has been taken out of your hands. And there's a need for recalibration here. So what currently is coming through as as a bit of misunderstanding that can really be arrived at through bringing yourself into balance. There's something that's clouded the judgment a little too much here, that's keeping you from really understanding how much you do have the ability to choose your own path in life. It's not really any obligation being put on you outside of what you allow yourself to kind of be put under. It's coming through like that, put under. It's like somebody is putting you under their directive. And for some reason, you really value this particular directive coming in because you see this person as a powerful figure. And yet, in some way, it's not really the right direction for you. And you know that. So how do you assert yourself moving forward here? Well, it's not really going to have anything to do with pleasing whoever this outside authority is or whatever this outside authority is. It's going to be more about you being willing to stay true to you and your path. So let's understand more about this obstacle. Let's let the obstacle speak here. Yeah, okay, so there's something here where you negate your own ability to be able to see into what is best for your future, as well as what needs to come to an end. This is when you don't trust your own intuition, and so you always look outside of yourself for the answers. You may be valuing somebody else's opinion about what they think would be best for you rather than really valuing your own insight. You may be feeling like every time you trust your intuition, it leads you astray. And there might be something there where you're actually not connecting with your intuition, but you've been more connecting with a place of anxiety within yourself, and anxiousness that makes you feel like you have to act immediately instead of sitting in that place where it's a little bit uncomfortable. It's a little bit of a space of ambiguity, so you can get really clear on the nuances that are trying to get through to you and communicate to you and highlight something to you. Because a lot of times when we first sink into our intuition and we're connecting really deeply with our intuition, we can tell ourselves that this feeling that it feels like a bit of stirring within us is something that must propel us to act because we have a nervousness around it. Like, if I don't do this right now, something really bad is going to happen. And sometimes that can be coming from a pre-programmed place that's more related to sort of a going back in the files of previous experiences, and it's like the neural links work that way. It encounters a sensation in the body and it transmits that frequency, and it gets kind of run through the database of all the old files of previous experiences, and it says, oh, certainly, this means something really bad is about to happen. You better brace yourself, or you better act now, or else you're going to find yourself in a tight spot, rather than sitting in the discomfort of a situation for things to become clear. We have error, not found, 404, not found. Like, there's something here where you feel like no matter how hard you try to look into it, you can't find it. No matter how much you try to resolve something that feels like a mystery to you, something feels like it's secret, it's shrouded in secrecy. You feel like you don't have access to it. And what I would say is, this is the obstacle, feeling like you have to look outside to understand something that's a mystery to you. It's almost like telling you to turn the focus within you. Don't try to understand what is a mystery to you in relation to a particular situation or a person. It's more about understanding what you're not seeing within you in the situation. Once you drop in and you understand what is making you feel apprehensive or has you on edge, you'll get more tapped into what does need to come to an end. There's something here that's had too much influence over the way you're seeing something, and it has something to do with what you're trying to look into here. but it's asking you to reflect instead within yourself, and then you'll be able to scribe your next step more efficiently. And it's not about having it all mapped out before you. It's just about the next step. Don't make it bigger than it really needs to be. Small steps lead to big results at this time. Especially when something has been really shrouded in secrecy. There's something about trying to look into secret matters or understand what's been hidden for you that is actually somewhat of a hook that's keeping you in a bit of this lack of clarity, keeping you from really understanding what your next step should be. This is the basis of the matter. You've been dealing with a very secretive person or a very secretive situation, but you're not going to understand it by looking deeper into that, because it's almost like the reason why there's not a way through there is because it crosses a particular boundary. If it's a secret, then there's a reason why it's being kept secret, whether you agree with that being secret or not. And there's something here where you have to respect that and instead understand why you're trying to bypass a boundary. Why are you trying to look into something in a situation or with a particular person that is currently hidden, concealed from you? There's also something about that where there could be a withholding going on in a situation when somebody is purposefully withholding information that is so critical for you to be able to make up your mind. And yet within that is a very simplified way to see through some kind of obstruction, something that's acted as an obstacle and has really put you in a place of confusion. 11:44 on the clock. This is a way for you to overcome this, to find the strength to take your focus off of this and instead direct it on bringing yourself into alignment. It's like something is kind of capturing your attention, and it's almost like giving a hint that if you could peer beneath the veneer, if you could see what was concealed, you could find a way through to this person, or you could find a way through the situation. And actually it's the very thing that's keeping you from not stepping onto a particular path of exploration that is really your way forward. It's like it's causing you to waste a lot of time in this in-between place. If something wants to continue to be so ambiguous, then it would be in your best interest to really recognize my future is not found here, because whatever is part of my future is going to be showing up right here, right now. It's not going to involve me having to like go through so much smoke and mirrors. It's not going to have to really involve me trying to like deconstruct something or see through something that is really kind of hazy. My next step is going to be very clear. It's already here. It's like showing up. And that's a lot of times just really looking at what am I able to do right now? So if there's still things that are unknown and you feel a sense of anxiousness, understand that the anxiousness comes from that desire to have control over the next step. And there's this energy we're moving into right now where we don't have control. And I mean, all we can do is respond in the moment. That's the best we can do right now. That's the best anybody can do. We're living through a time of great transformation and uncertainty. So you have to just kind of like go for the ride. You already got the ticket. You incarnated here. You got to go along for the ride. You're not going to have every detail about what's up ahead, and it's meant to be like that. The secrets are meant to be revealed to you as you step into your power to trust yourself to be able to navigate the unknown. It requires that kind of leap of faith, okay? So don't get distracted by whatever this is, trying to understand something that is purposefully being ambiguous or not clearly defined or is too confusing, but is really capturing your attention because you feel like it has the answers to those burning questions. It's not. The answer is within you. And it's through you taking all that energy that you've been invested in trying to figure something out that's acting as a hook and keeping you in this in-between place where you're not actually activating the potential of the path that's meant to open up to you, that needs to come to an end. Once that comes to an end and you start focusing on what's going on right now, what is showing up on your path right now in this moment, and you start to respond in a more organic way rather than needing to have everything kind of lined up and figured out, which might be a little difficult for you. You might feel like you need the answers, and there's something here about, no, you're meant to enter the mystery right now. That's what brings your empowerment, okay? And then on the top here, you see it's your time to rise. You may be really asking spirit for answers. You might really be trying to figure out your next step, and you're asking spirit for answers, and it's almost like source is coming through and saying, you already hold the mystery inside you. You already have a direct connection to source. Source doesn't operate in a contrived way. Source is just that free-flowing one energy coming into new forms all the time. And so there's something here about it's time to stop praying for deliverance from a situation or praying for the answers. It's time to be the answer. There's some kind of like outside authority here that you've looked to for the answers, or you've looked to for the sign of what your next step is, or there's some, and for some of you, even your spirituality has become a crutch because you're asking for a prayer to be answered for you rather than you exercising your creative power of being the answer through taking a step. There's some way here that you need to save yourself. There's some way here that you need to get up. You need to rise. You can't be on your knees anymore. You can't be in a subservient position anymore. You can't pass the buck. It's time to really take an action here and stop trying to see the next step. The only way you're going to see the next step is by taking the first one, okay? By taking the first one. Wow. Okay, let's do a cut of the deck here. Get some more clarity about this. Yes. It's about really paying attention to, there's like something coming through here that's trying to signal your awareness around what you keep paying attention to. It gives me the impression of like side quests or different options that aren't really what's going to fulfill you, right? They're not what's going to feed the hunger inside of you. Instead, you need to get really focused on what you truly have your sights set on here. And you got to keep it moving too. There's something about this as well, about losing focus because you're staying in one place, fixated on something or a certain outcome too long, and instead it's not as important as you think it is. It's more like a diversion. It's something that can distract you for a moment from that hungry feeling you have. It's like it fills you up for a moment, but then very quickly you recognize that it's kind of captured your attention for too long. And there needs to be judgment around this, around what's not really fulfilling you, what isn't really feeding. It's coming through as feeding a hunger in you. Feeding a hunger in you. It's time to get refocused here. And don't get distracted. Also by what makes a lot of noise. What might be trying to capture your attention through making a lot of noise. Okay. Yeah, because whatever that is, it's actually something that is keeping you in this place of reactivating a very destructive cycle over and over and over again. It never allows what wants to truly be nurtured by you, focused on by you, breathed life into to come through. Because there's something about whatever this is that you've labeled it as the end all be all. This is it. And yet it's not giving you anything that you're needing if you're honest with yourself. And so there's something about getting a deeper understanding about where it is falling short and not being, oh, interesting. When I picked it up in reverse. Then you'll see. Then you'll see with clarity. Yeah, something that has almost like a hypnotizing effect, I feel. But it doesn't really nourish you. It may provide nourishment at times, but it's not really hitting the mark, okay? Let me get some clues here for you about what's still in the shadow, or what's the blind spot in relation to this, and what has already been alchemized. What strengths can you fall back on in relation to this? And we're just going to do one round here, and we'll do a split of the deck. I want to keep these messages really straight to the point, succinct, easy to navigate, understand, and apply. We don't want to make it convoluted. We don't want it complicated. We're going to keep it in that space of simplicity, all right? All right. Bottom of the deck. What's in the shadow? You're not considering what you really need to feel fulfilled here with the Ace of Cups in the shadow, until you really open yourself up to receiving that. Like, what is currently, it feels like a mystery to you. You're thinking that something here that you're fixated on is the thing that's going to give you the quenching of your thirst, the satisfaction of your hunger. It's going to provide some kind of satiation, and yet it doesn't. It leaves you empty. Something is missing the mark here. And it leaves you in a place where you don't feel at peace, because there's something that always feels like it's ambiguous or it's hidden. It's a missing element. And this could be in relation to a particular connection for some of you. I also got, for others of you, this could be in relation to your health and the way you're nourishing yourself. You're following along somebody else's dictates here. You know, this could be a coach you're working with, or this could be a nutritionist you hired, or it could just be what a friend's doing, and it's not the right approach for you. You need to do something different, okay? You need to trust your own voice and get in touch with that to understand how to bring your health into a better place, okay? And there could be some of that coming in intermingled too in relation to a relationship. There could be this imagery coming through and expressing itself in relation to what nourishes you. And it has a lot to do not just with your own health and vitality, but also the health and vitality of your connections, your relationships. Okay. Yeah, I do feel like something has encountered like a lot of sticking points here. There's been a lot of sticking points here, but there's transformation underway, and I love this. Yes, I love this. You see, because we have the Queen of Pentacles coming in here, really having a look at, what do I want to invest in? What do I want to create for my reality? And there's been some kind of looking to an outside figure in relation to this, like feeling that you need the approval of somebody here, or some kind of institution, or even for appearances, in order to invest in something that is important to you. This is coming in with real strong Taurian energy. So if you don't have a strong Taurus placement, I would suggest that you look at your natal chart. You see, what do you have going on in your second house of Taurus? What placements do you have there? Also, where is your Venus placement? Venus is currently in Libra, but in the Taurian aspect, it has a different expression, and it has a lot to do with your personal sense of value, your personal sense of worth, and what is meaningful to you, and what you invest in, and kind of the economics of that too. Of course, financially, when we look at the House of Taurus, but it's not just that. It's also time and energy. And there's been too much time and energy spent in trying to appease a particular outside authority here to sort of get the stamp of approval, rather than just trusting yourself and what feels right to you to invest in this. And once you recognize that it's all within you, then you have the keys that really open up your road, keep you from this place. You trust your own guidance, you know, what feels connects you to that sense of source. How do you know when you're really tapped into source? It just feels right. There isn't anything ambiguous. There's nothing confusing. It's very simple. It's very clear. And I see where you do feel a sense of imbalance as you tap into this energy. It starts to bring everything in balance here. You no longer feel like you're kind of like washed out to sea. You start to understand the voice of your waters more. You trust your own intuition. You trust your own timing. You trust your own flow. All right, so this is about you considering what you really want to invest in. And you don't need the approval from someone outside of you. And it's really about you allowing yourself to find your own balance here with this, whatever it is, rather than feeling like you need this other too to make it possible. You could feel like that, like I can't make this happen unless I have this person on board, and it's not true. All right. Balancing activities will be really beneficial for you. There's something about rooting it in the physical by balancing. Balancing poses could be beneficial. Balancing asanas like tree pose could be beneficial, or airplane or half moon. You know, working with balancing poses could be a beneficial form of like an active meditation to achieve that balance. You have to be very present when you work with balancing poses, or even if you're working on like a balancing board, anything like that. It really does help you embody what it means to come into the moment. You cannot move into a balancing pose if your mind is all over the place. So there's something about really honing your focus here. Honing your focus here. And also, sometimes you do have to weigh things out, you know, in the extreme. You swing to extremes to find the middle. There could be something you're doing here too where it's too extreme, it's too one way, and there needs to be a little bit more room for the other. So you might be too disciplined and you need to have a little bit more leeway, a little more wiggle room. You need to lighten up a little bit, okay? You may be having a need to recalibrate your schedule too, so things don't feel like you have to catch up last minute because you procrastinated so long that it starts to throw everything off. And then you're trying to get more time to execute something from like your boss or some outside figure, and get their approval to have more time, when there's something here about time management coming through too. And really paying attention to what throws you off of your balance and adjusting that. It's coming through in a very tangible, physical way. So I feel like it could have a lot to do with stuff like your day-to-day schedule, your day-to-day routine, how you're caring for your body, how you're eating, how you're working, and not leaving things to the last minute. Having more kind of independent agency too. Not waiting for somebody else to sign on to something, especially when it's something you feel really invested in putting your energy toward. It's like you're delaying your own gratification, I feel, because I think as soon as you take this in your own hands and you start putting some energy in this direction, you're going to really see things balance out. I think your finances will balance out. I think also the opportunity you've been wanting will start to come into view. But somebody is creating delays for you here, and you're granting them that power because you're kind of putting the power in their hands by letting them hold you up. It's like they're not giving you an answer. They're not communicating when you ask them a question, you know. And there's something that's being done very purposefully there. I feel that this is about you not needing to rely on that like stamp of approval. You can do this on your own is what I'm hearing. Okay? Yeah, because something's keeping you in the poorhouse. And when I'm saying in the poorhouse, it's not just lacking the material resources you need, but it's also keeping you in this place of injury, you know, where you don't feel like you're really in a strong place. And it has something to do with just kind of like limping along and accepting the bare minimum and those little just bits of communication that come through that aren't really clear and direct. There's something here that's keeping you out of an opportunity that you don't need anybody else to make that way for you. You can trust your own take on this and you can find your way through. It's like somebody's coming through, like they can show you the way, or they're going to be the guide for you, or they can give you a leg up. And really this person is, you know, they're operating on the same level as you. So maybe it's also about connecting with the right person too. You know, somebody who's not working at a disadvantage like you feel like you are at this time. The more you start to explore other options here, I feel like, yeah, look at that. It puts you in your power, Queen of Wands. Yeah, you're meant to open the road here. Don't wait for somebody else to open this road for you. This is you moving independently, using your fire in a very productive way. It frees you from what's had you up in your head, had you up at night, had you in this space of worry, concern, anxiety, ambiguity, the what ifs. It's like, just take the action. You'll hit the mark. Look at that, you know? There's fulfillment here. This is about you finding personal fulfillment. Everything moves forward for you once you get out of your head and you stop feeling a victim to this. But the thing is it requires you to make the investment. You have to take the risk. You can't be laying down for the count anymore. It doesn't matter what happened back there, how rough it was. It's time to get up. You got to get back up. You have to be in it, man. You have to be in it to win it. You do that, the road opens up for you. Where there were blocks, you find the way through. Why? Because you're using your power wisely, and that's what brings you into balance. And then the opportunity that you were waiting for shows up in perfect timing. Okay, you got angels on the outfield here that are assisting you. So that's what's coming in for you, pile one. Take that with you as you head into this energy of the Lion's Gate. All right. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this a few times. Just 3 times. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the deck 3 times and we'll dive into pile 2 here. Okay. Or reality tunnel number 2. However you want to view it. Portal number 2. It's all the same trip, man, no matter what you label it. So don't get too attached to any labels. We're just having some fun with this. Having some fun with our obstacles. Having a more playful approach to our obstacles. We don't need to make them out to be bigger than they actually are, right? It's a little shadow play, like when you do shadow puppets, you know? Our hands, you know, can make these images that appear a lot bigger than they really are, you know, when they're cast on the wall and some light shed to a matter, okay? Yeah. It's kind of Neptunian, you know, smoke and mirrors energy there. Okay, so let's check it out. Pile 2 coming in at 3344. Wow, master builder numbers. A lot of helpful forces coming in for you too. You got a lot of assistance here. There's a lot of guidance coming in for you. So if you feel like you've been dealing with obstacles, prepare to start to see signs. Signs that not only point out what the obstacle is, but how to get around it. There's also some helpful people coming in that are going to assist you in circumnavigating some obstacles. I also feel like there's something here about just really keeping yourself aligned, you know? Keeping yourself in a really balanced place is important at this time. And you also got a little angels on the outfield action, which means a lot of entering that stream of synchronicity where all kinds of things are communicating to you. I mean, all of life is always communicating to us at all times, but there are significant junctures that come onto our path there that require a special kind of navigational awareness. And when we're in that territory, which I feel this particular pile is, there's a lot of signs that start to come in very subtle ways. And the more that we can see into the subtleties, the more it makes what was once subtle very crystallized and clear. And it helps us get around some things that can be a little bit tricky. But this is also like a squaring of the Empress and Emperor energy. So there's some kind of creativity that is really teeming here. There is something that is ready to begin. There's like some kind of fresh start energy coming in here. There's power that's being activated too. And there's a sharing of power. There's a balance of power. There could be a significant meeting of minds, meeting of hearts, a special connection coming in here in some capacity. Basis of the matter, I mean, something is coming in and it's stealing your heart. And this might take you by surprise. I think whatever this is, it captures your heart in such a way that it reminds you of the sting of times when your heart was captured before, whether it's in relation to a dream you went for that fell flat, or it was somebody that you thought was like going to be the one you were going to share your life with, and something went left and you found yourself standing alone, or whether you really trusted somebody and then they disappointed you when they betrayed you, or whatever this is. There's something about being in this really unguarded, trusting place that when this opportunity comes in, it gives you like a little sting of memories past when you really put your heart on the line and then you experience some kind of rejection or some kind of disappointment. And yet the burn of this is that this has stolen your heart, whatever this is. So it's going to cause you to confront some tricky emotions, some sticking places within yourself, I feel. Okay, let's check it out. What's on the top of the deck? It puts you in a bit of that energy of Uranus and Mars and Gemini. It puts you at a little bit of an odds within yourself. Like it divides you within yourself. You don't know which choice you should make. You feel really conflicted. But see, there's a key that's showing up here. There's a way through. It's like the mind is too deeply engaged in this. There's something you need to free your mind from. Free your mind, the rest will follow, okay? There's something here about not trying to be too definitive about something. And also not feeling like you have to make it the end all be all. Just because it's captured your heart doesn't mean that you're in any danger opening up to an experience. You know what I'm saying? Because I do feel like something's trying to remind you that, look, you are here. This is where you have protection. This is where your vision is clear. Not when you're looking back on what caused pain, what caused you to shed tears, what was a point of grief or some kind of loss. I'm even seeing it almost as bloodletting, you know? Bloodletting. It's like something was bad blood, and it could have been a bit of a parasitic force in your life, something that like leached you, you know, some sense of vitality or power, or leached you of even, you know, just feeling really engaged with your life. But it's more like the samskaras. It's like the psychic imprint, those experiences left on you. You might want to do some nervous system healing to bring, you know, these opposing polarities more into a place of harmonization within yourself. You might need to do more centering activities, things that bring you into your center. there's something that has you too conflicted. And the nurturing comes in not through being too fixated in one direction or another, but really just allowing yourself to find your center. So what centers you? That's a good place to start, because what centers one may be destabilizing for another. We all find our center in different ways. So tap into that a little bit. Because once you find your center, I feel like where you feel really conflicted or out of your element, suddenly the direction, where you're really at, and the next step becomes very clear. You put this behind you. You put the tears behind you. You put the sweat, the toil behind you. The grit, grime, and the groil of, you know, the holy groil, the machine that you feel is just run over you. And I mean, in this case, I feel like it's the machinations of the mind that's making something a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, you may have defaulted to that. The last time you really had your heart stolen, like it left you with such a place of, I'm hearing like vacancy, void. There's something that felt like such an endless well there. It went really deep. You might have felt like you had to make kind of like head over heart decisions. And yet you may have needed to come from that place at that time, but you have to remember to come back into the heart. You got to build a bridge to get back there, you know, where you're not disconnected from the heart. And I think that's why this is coming in, to kind of steal your heart, to remind you like, oh, whoa, okay, wow. My heart's really invested in this. 41, 33 on the clock, yeah. 33 coming in is a really major master number here. Also the energy of 6, Venus. Venus is really lighting something up in your heart here. And once you're able to get out of the place of the what ifs or trying to think of all the possible outcomes, how it could turn out if you let your heart feel what it feels and you be invested in this, or, you know, looking back at the way you were burned before, what hurt you before, there's something that makes a decision very clear, takes you out of this place of confusion, helps you really find out where you are, brings you back to your heart. I am here. I am here. I'm still here. I'm still here. You know, there's something about that, okay? Something about that. Yeah. Kind of the deck here. Former child star. Like, it does give the vibe of that. It's like the death of an old dream or something that got jaded for you in childhood. This could even be. This could be. The obstacle could be the jaded child in you that never got to see that dream come into reality. And so the first sign of any hope that it could be true, you know, you want to burn that bridge, you know, it sparks up almost like the little rebellious young one inside. That's kind of how it's coming through. Like a very young part of you that felt very jaded or frustrated or denied something. So it's like you cut off the opportunity before you even see what it is. But I like this because there's a little spark being lit here, you see, where it's like, well, wait a minute. Do I really want to set fire to this? Do I really? So this could be the recovering of your spark after it was snuffed out, you know, maybe it got snuffed out at a really young age in some way. And now you're reclaiming this spark. But there's like the pressurized aspect of having needed to snuff your spark too for too long. It could have been that you dealt with a lot of volatility every time you let this spark of genius, this spark of creativity, this spark that's just your essence. It's like your light and the way you bring it forward. you may have dealt with a lot of backlash, and so you learned how to keep yourself really small. And there's something about it, it's time to grow beyond that, you know? And don't let what tries to keep you in that space where you feel like if I bring forward my spark, there's going to be nothing but pushback or nothing but conflict or nothing but problems or nothing but competition or nothing but drama, or it's going to piss some people off, and then that's going to burn bridges, or every time I let my light shine, people fall away. And there's something here about not sacrificing your spark this time, using it as a creative force it is, and not as a destructive force that's turned against you by others who would like to steal away the very thing that fuels your heart. Yeah, it's interesting. Right behind that, we have death. Like, it's so time that you recognize that you can no longer cut short a certain vision you have for your life. You've stared too far into a particular mystery, and you have to emerge from the cave, Prometheus, with that spark. The world needs it now. And it is kind of the falling away of an old identity. I don't think this is the first time you've been through an experience like this either. You may have had like a near-death experience in the past, or you may have faced a situation that was really a crisis, or it was life-threatening in some way. You may have been through a really spiritually challenging initiation that radically shifted your psychology. It's kind of coming through as splintering you off too, from a very young part of you that maybe needs to be kind of called back or recovered. Could be coming through as soul retrieval for some of you. You might want to look into that. And I really feel that you can recover your own soul. You certainly can work with somebody you trust, you know. But really, you can call your soul parts back yourself. I do have some stuff on the medicine bag playlist that does that kind of work, like leads you through a guided meditation where you can start to call those parts of you back. So this could be coming in for some of you. I feel like there's a young part of you that is trying to get your attention here. But it may be almost something that you view as a block because there's something uncomfortable about looking deeply into this, like looking deeply into your childhood, for example, something that you were afraid, you know, afraid to bring forward at that time, lest you open Pandora's box. And yet you do need to look into that mystery. There's a truth that you need to see there. And this truth also, you know, it's a source of power. It's like the scythe comes in to end an old view you have about what's possible for you and also who you are, and change that view for others as well. Yeah, Chaos Mom is right behind that. I mean, you're holding a lot of creative power at this time, right? You hold a lot of creative power in your hands. And in no way should you be ashamed of this. So I don't know if certain gifts you have, if people have tried to cast them into shame, or they want you to sit back down, or whatever this is, but you need to make certain that you don't act on that. Because this is still in your heart, okay? Let me go ahead and get one round. It's about to. It hasn't come in yet. It's about to. But as you step into this, I do feel like it has you stepping into the light. You step into the solar energy. So there's visibility with that. And there could be something about the swarm on your tail here. There could be people that want to antagonize or make it difficult for you to step into this. But you know, the shadows only have power if you're facing that way. If you face the sun, the shadows fall behind you. So keep your orientation in the correct place, okay? I think you need to let this steal your heart. You know? Can you trust this to hold your heart for you? You can if you trust yourself. You can. Because if it starts to show any signs of betraying your heart, you'll move away from it, you know? You will. You can trust the wisdom you gained through these, feels like you've been through some pretty heavy doorways of initiation. You could have a history of some kind of like major crisis you had to move through, or like I was saying, you faced your own mortality, or something really brought you to the edge here. It pushed you to the edge in such a way that it's almost like you may not feel like you're who you were, you know, who you came into this world as. Like there's been something that's felt almost like there was a delineation point between that's who I was then and this is who I am now. And yet there's a young part of you that's still there, that has a spark for you. It's like, don't forget about me. That's how it's coming through. Don't forget about me. Okay. Don't you forget about me. It always reminds me of the Breakfast Club, okay? Breakfast Club reminds me of Ali Sheedy's character, Breakfast Club. Yeah, interesting. That might ring for somebody, dating for somebody. It feels like the Ali Sheedy kind of energy. Yeah, ooh, Empress, look at this. You see, you're really meant to come into your heart with the Venusian energy. You're meant to enter this growth cycle. Also, you're meant to be seen. Okay, you're meant to be seen. This part of you is meant to be seen. This part of you that is full of creativity. This part of you that has grown. You're not who you were back there. There's something that needs to be seen accurately. You need to see it in yourself. You may not see it right now, but you need to see it in yourself. There's a new beginning here. There's a fresh start. There's something that is growing here. It's growing around you. It's all growing around you, wild and free. And you're seated. You're seated on this growth. It supports you. It's what shields you. It's what shields your heart to live out of this place of growth. So that's a good way to start. Strong foundation there. Okay? You can trust your heart. To your own heart, be true. Right? As long as you're true to your own heart, you'll never go wrong. Don't betray your own heart. That's the key here, you know. It's not putting the power to betray your heart in the hands of another. As long as you always trust your heart, no matter what you're dealing with, even if somebody is being unfair with you, even if you're dealing with an injustice, you will not betray your own heart. And that's how you keep yourself crowned by the wisdom of those experiences you've been through. I love it. Look, that's how you keep yourself crowned with the wisdom, and you secure the new beginnings that are very dear to your heart. This is really cool. I've never seen this with this card before, but it is coming out as alchemized energy. There's like a time in your life, or there's a storyline in your life. There's something that you've completely left behind you. Some of you may have moved. You may have physically moved. You may be in a new area, or you might be in an entirely different environment or situation, but there's something you've really stabilized here. You have a strong foundation here. And the new beginnings that are coming in, they're coming in because you're trusting your own perspective. You're trusting your own connection to your higher consciousness and what you're kind of intuiting here, what's channeling through you. You're trusting your own ideas, your own impressions of situations. And this is also what protects your heart, but it's what brings in these opportunities for you. They're aligned with your own personal perspective and what is important to your heart. And this is what brings you into balance, okay? So you're going to have stability with whatever this is. It's very solid. It's very solid. Your stability comes through you really trusting your own footing in a situation and really standing on business in relation to that. To really stay in that seat of your creative power, that Empress energy, and to take the opportunities that align with both your heart and your higher consciousness. That's what brings in balance for you, okay? And I do feel like you're getting stabilized here. You are getting stabilized here. And as long as you don't look behind you, you know, it does give like Lot vibes. As long as you don't look behind you, you won't turn into a pillar of salt. You know what I mean? There's something here that is preserved. And it's spiraling in here for you. Okay. Let's do a cut of the deck on this. I mean, that feels really complete. And we have transformed energy, but this kind of came out in the middle. So we got a few cards to look at here. First of all, yeah, something has been balanced out. And this is what is really shifting for you. You're taking the scales into your own hands. You're no longer going to be in this place of needing to find balance outside of yourself. You find that your own equilibrium within, right? And it's also about really looking at, when we look at the heart, we have to look at receiving. So there could be something here about looking at this like flow of reciprocity, you know? Is there reciprocation? Is the energy feeling like it's a good flow where there's a give and take here? And I think even in matters of the heart, you're going to really start to pay attention to this. And as long as you stay in touch with this and you let yourself kind of balance those scales by really noticing how is the energy feeling as you take a step into this opportunity that really is, you know, capturing your heart, you'll be able to achieve a balance where it does feel good. There's a good give and take here. It feels stabilized. And the 4 to the 6, that's 10 of Pentacles. Like there's something to build on here for sure. And we got transformed energy in the center here. I mean, we have the Empress. So Empress is coming on through. I think you're achieving this balance. I love how this is coming out. Because on this side, we have the Page of Pentacles. So there's something you haven't learned yet. And it's something you're about to recover here. But it comes from a younger part of you. It's trying to get your attention. It's kind of like hiding in the dark here. It says, look, I'm trying to show you something. What's behind this? I'm trying to show you something that leads to overcoming all these obstacles that have held you back for too long. And what's behind this? Ooh. And it has you walking away from where you had previously invested so much of yourself to trust the wisdom of the Hermit's Road that comes on through. This is going to be illuminated with the solar eclipse for you. It's a truth. It's a truth that has you cutting a way through. And it brings completion of a karmic cycle and a new worldview. The fixed is in flux, I hear. And you're no longer conflicted. It's alchemy. It's transformation. Transformation of the self. This is a deep point of integration. For those of you who've already been in some kind of like healing process where you've been doing soul retrieval work or something along those lines, there might be the final piece coming in here that completes that soul retrieval. Those who have been through soul retrieval work, it's like a very indefinite process in terms of the timing. And when it's complete, you know it's complete. there really is this sense of homecoming, alignment, and feeling like you're in your soul's essence again. But it takes time sometimes to retrieve all the pieces. And I do feel like this is coming in pretty strongly, and it's going to resolve what's been holding you back or keeping you conflicted for too long. Yeah, and it gives you the strength to rise above a challenge from the past. By being willing to look deeper into it, to have the courage. See, this is the Empress energy here too. Empress energy coming through real strong here. Real strong Libra, Taurus signature. It's got Leo coming in very strongly. I do feel like that Lion's Gate is really going to be communicating something to you. Yeah, there's some message that comes in swiftly there, okay? Pay attention. Pay attention to the message that comes in, because it's going to show you how to activate this potential that you hold that you're not aware of right now, right? Ooh, strong messages for pile 2. Okay, let's go ahead and shuffle these a bit. And we'll bring in the final reality tunnel, portal of transformation. Let's see. Let's shuffle this a few times, and then I'll cut the deck a few times just to clear out that energy. And we'll move on to the next here. One more shuffle there. Okay, cut it a few times. Just make sure we really have a clean template of energy to work with. I got something, I'm going to go ahead and bring it in. 10131. Yeah. 10131 for pile 3. There's something you're transforming here. It does require that you take an action. It may require you facing a fear. But once you face the fear, you feel much more rooted in your power, and it brings a closure to something that's had power over you for too long. I heard giving up the ghost, okay? Giving up the ghost. All right, let's check it out. Let's see what we got here. Bottom of the deck. You need to identify what is feeding off of your energy, because in some way it has you too guarded. There's like this prickliness there. There's something that is acting as an irritant or an annoyance. It's purposefully doing that as a way to bait you and have you so fixated on it that you don't get where you need to go. It's holding you up. It's getting all of your mana that you're meant to use for transformation. There's an electrifying experience coming in here that's going to really highlight what this is that you've been kind of caught up in or you're focusing on, that's feeding off your energy purposefully by trying to irritate you. This is a source of irritation. It's a source of irritation. It's also something that makes you feel like you have to really store up your waters, because I think of cactus and they really have all that hydration stored up within them. There's something here that you feel like you have to protect your waters in relation to this. I think of waters and I think of the emotions. I think of the intuition. I think of the ability to just soften, receive, to be in that flow, to be in that flow state. Like there's something here that takes you out of your flow state. And it does it purposefully, maybe, so you hold in your waters when you're meant to let them flow. You're meant to share your creativity. You're meant to express your emotions. This may even be somebody that tries to put something on you that tells you in some way you're being irritating or you're being annoying by expressing what you're feeling. But it's really to keep you in this place where you feel like you're not able to move forward. Or you get distracted from where you're heading. And you lose your enthusiasm because it's such a draining influence. This is something that's just feeding off of you. It's just milking you. It's milking you for all it can get. This is an energy that's taking advantage of you in some way. This is about really getting focused, refocused on what you're truly after here. And stop giving time and energy to this. There's going to be something that comes in here. It's going to be a little bit of a jolt for you, okay? It's going to kind of like wake you up out of, you know, this place of complacency. I feel like something is going to require that you transform. You transform this situation. You can't let whatever this is continue to get a free ride on your energy. It's slowing you down. And it's causing you to lose enthusiasm around something you really do want to move forward with. It's like having a very subtly eroding effect. But I think there's something coming in here that's a bit jarring or electrifying, or really like, it's like a wake-up call moment where something happens that you finally recognize why you are feeling so on edge, why you have been so irritable, why you do feel so drained. And it's going to get you refocused because there's some kind of transformation happening here. All right, what's on the top? I almost went to shuffle. It's almost like somebody wants to shuffle things around before you get the guidance you need, or before you're able to really drop into your own kind of sense of direction here. They want to keep kind of pulling the focus elsewhere so you never get where you need to go. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, in a way, you're robbing yourself of something you do really want to bring in here. It's like the birth of something here, the beginning of something. And you don't even get to fill up your own cup here because you're constantly pouring into the elephant in the room. It's like the thing that you don't want to look at. And it causes you to sort of like mask your true energy here. Mask your true energy. I feel like this is something that you're afraid to like share because in some way it's very uncomfortable to step into your true energy. It's the elephant in the room. It's making everything awkward. It's what has you on edge here. See, I feel like this is your true energy, but it's masked from you because you're keeping it very small, like tucked away. And you need to pull the mask off. You need to pull the mask off and stop spilling out the very essence of what wants to fill you up by entertaining something that's feeding off your memories, using your memories against you. You know, elephants have such a memory, you know, and something's feeding off of your memories, like your emotions. See, the water is going down into the bowl that the elephant is feeding off of. It's like somebody's using your emotional memories, or maybe even something that you went through, something that was painful for you. They're feeding off of that. They're almost using it against you. Maybe they perceive it as a weakness, but what's ironic is whatever that is, it's actually a source of great strength that you hold. It's almost like you're holding back your power and the true strength you hold to make others feel accommodated or comfortable. But something's becoming too evident, I feel. And sooner or later, that emotional authenticity has to rise to the surface, because whatever this new beginning is that really has you stepping into the power that you hold, it's a new beginning, something that you desire, but you feel like you can't really like let it be seen. Maybe because it draws attention and somebody's trying to make you feel in some way like self-conscious or insecure. And somehow that feeds that other person, you know? It allows them to keep you in a place where maybe they don't have to look at ways that they feel small in your presence. You know, because elephants they're big, you know? Look how small this elephant is. It has to feed off of your energy to feel bigger by using your own emotions and your own memories against you. So you cloak your energy, so you keep yourself small when you should be really revealing this power you hold. It's something you should be proud of. And there's nothing wrong with having a healthy sense of pride. And in fact, if you stop providing sustenance for this and you invest in what this is that's so important to you, and you let yourself really be seen and you bring this part of you forward, it's going to provide for you endlessly. But you got to stop pouring your cup out, and you got to turn the cup up so you can receive here. So you can receive here. All right, let's do a cut of the deck. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I mean, this is like being martyred for something inside of you that's actually the most magical, wondrous part of you. And somebody is trying to keep you really hemmed in here through some kind of tradition, some kind of morality too. They may be telling you that there's something wrong with who you truly are. And you might have to really break out of some kind of like institutionalized perspectives in order to show up in the world like the weird little wizard you are. But you know, if you do, I feel like you got strength for the journey ahead. And I also feel like there's somebody else here too, that they relate to you. You see eye to eye. Maybe you won't be so alone. Maybe you'll start drawing to you people who are more resonant with who you authentically are than somebody who has to make you small in order for them to be comfortable with you. They have to let you always be the fall guy, you know, in order for them to feel empowered in some way. Something's becoming too difficult to ignore, and I do feel like there's some kind of electrifying moment coming here where you recognize, like, I can't ignore this anymore. I do have to speak to it. I do have to really reveal who I am, the power I hold. I can't let some kind of fear of being made an example of, or having somebody use my vulnerabilities against me hold me back from this. F yeah, man. That's right. Nobody's going to keep you hanging up here. Nobody's going to put a target on your happiness. Nobody's going to tell you you can't shine in your own right. I think that your sights are going to be focused on the gifts you hold. There's an awareness, like you see gifts that you hold that you weren't able to see before. There could be something that is really highlighting this to you. It's like once you see something come in here, you're going to recognize that you can't hold this gift back any longer for somebody else's comfort. There's transformation underway here for sure. It might bring in a little chaos, but it does root a new foundation for you. And I feel like this happiness that this gives you, this moment of exposure, but it feels like you're in charge of this exposure, like you're doing the big reveal here. It frees you from something that's held you up for too long, and it is your truth. It is your truth, and you no longer have to like wear some false face, you know? You finally get to step into the light of who you are. I think there is a situation here where there could be others or a particular dynamic or circumstance you've been navigating that requires you to kind of like be a nobody, you know? And I don't think you're willing to do that anymore. You have a purpose to live out here too. And this has something to do with the best, most magical like part of you. It's like something that really is your way forward. It's something that gives you strength for your journey and power for your journey. And it can't be held back any longer. Okay, so let me get some more details on this for you. Yeah, the delays have been really holding you back, delaying, revealing this, whatever this is. There's something you're holding in here because of some fear of judgment or being made an outcast or some kind of shame. And I feel like whatever this is, it's like as soon as you come up and out with it and you don't let your energy be cloaked anymore, there's an alignment that comes in right away. Like somebody is really able to meet you in that place. And maybe somebody here that is a much better traveling companion for the road ahead, okay? Whatever role they're playing. I also feel like there's something about the magic itself, you know, becoming the way through. When you stop denying your ability to transform, your ability to alchemize what's kept you small for too long, what's cloaked your energy for too long, it becomes like a magic carpet that, you know, gets you to the other side of something. Maybe you need to travel a different way. It's time to abandon the road work. You need to take to the airways, you know. You might be doing a little journeying meditation. You might be somebody who does a lot of journeying work, or maybe you're a Merc rider, you ride the hedge. There might be a lot you're resolving like astrally right now that is ready to take form in the physical. You know, it's time to stop kind of like dancing with it off into the alfalfa and actually sort of embody it and bring it into your dance of life. Yeah, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. So yeah, it's like somebody's coming towards you and they have their cup up and they're asking you to fill it with every last bit of your essence that you hold. They want to harvest that energy, but you know, you need to redirect this energy and say, you know, you got to go fill your own cup here. I think that's what that's about, okay? Don't get distracted by this. You know what this is. It's something that takes, and it 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 takes, and it's an annoyance, and it leaves you feeling like really agitated, and it's hard for you to like kind of like chill out. Might even be activating for your nervous system. This could be an old lover that you've dealt with, okay? Or it even could be like somebody's advances that you're not interested in, and this person can't take a hint, and maybe you've been not wanting to like call out the elephant in the room, and you've been uncomfortable about that you really do need to just be up and out with it, I think is important, okay? Or there might be like a friend here, somebody wants you to show up in a certain way that you're just like, that I can't, like that's not who I am. And yet you kind of have to own that you've been the obstacle because you've allowed yourself to kind of like take on this identity or play this role that really isn't who you are. And the way that is limiting you, and it might kind of like make an example out of you at first, but you can't ignore that you're dissatisfied here. And as long as you continue to kind of think about, you know, what others need for healing, or what others need to feel happy in a situation, while you have to kind of sit and hold everything that you really desire and everything you want to express inside of yourself, you prevent yourself from receiving this gift that Spirit wants to bring through for you. Something Spirit wants to pour into you here. Right? So this is what you need to call out here. It could be with a group of people here where you're like, I'm not in harmony with you anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. You may feel like if you say, I'm not in alignment with this anymore, I feel like I'm betraying myself by being in alignment with this with you. And I can't just pretend that I'm feeling really like at odds with this anymore. I need to let you know, like, I'm not down with this. I don't agree with this. This isn't healing for me. Like, this isn't something I feel good about. This could even be that, you know, you might be in recovery. Somebody could be in recovery. And you don't want to go out drinking with the guys. You know, you don't. You're trying to get clear here. You're willing to stop numbing yourself out. You want to look at what's really going on. It's like as soon as you do this, I feel like what you need to nurture you really comes in. You may be recognizing this could be something that does have like kind of an addictive quality to it too. You know that it doesn't make you feel your best. You know that it puts you in a sphere of some like kind of suspect, seedy influences or characters, and yet you kind of keep getting roped back in because of tradition or, you know, guilt trips or, you know, or just fear of fallout, you know. But I feel like as soon as you really acknowledge this and you start to pull your energy away from this, you get back into your own essence, something comes in to really fill you up with exactly what you need. Anything else around that? I'm getting one more message in relation to this for you. Ground out your energy, okay? Take a little space from whatever this is. Create a little space, okay? To just drop in, ground out your energy. Maybe go chill out underneath a tree, talk to a tree, you know? Sometimes that's the best thing you can do. Go and talk to nature if you feel like, you know, people around you are not able to understand, you know, how hard you're working to overcome some things that have held you back, or if you're in a deep healing process, you know, these people may not be able to give you what you need, you know. They may want you to just numb it out. That may be more comfortable for them, you know. They want to distract you, but I think you're going to start to feel like the distractions grow to be more and more of an irritation for you. Yeah, it's like you're really starting to see that this is not it for me, and that's the thing that's holding back the turning of the Wheel of Fortune, is you are already aware of this and you're concealing it. You're hiding it, okay? As soon as you acknowledge it, you transmute it. You move into the energy of temperance, and then everything starts to fall right in line and everything syncs up for you. And then you'll be right on time. But what's throwing off the timing, what's wasting time and holding you back, is that you keep pouring into something that you know this is not it. I'm not in agreement with it. And there could be something about it too that just really it's not right with your soul too. You don't want to be part of this anymore, whatever it is. Let me do a cut the deck. I like it. Cut comes out as transmuted energy. Wow, I love when that happens. Do you see? As soon as you're just real with it, you actually get what you really desire. What a beautiful message that is. Ooh, I got chills. Okay, I'm going to take it the way it's split with pulling it up. You see, this really does involve you telling somebody like it is, educating somebody here about what you really desire, you know, and taking the first step to bring it into form, not hiding it anymore. And all this came out together. So, yeah, wow. Wow, this is really potent. So this is all about you recognizing, you know, that something you've been loyal to for a while, maybe for nostalgia's sake, or perhaps because it's been part of your life for a long time, or it's the way things always been, or it could be trying to please somebody that you really wanted them to like support you in something here. It could be a father figure for some of you. You may have been doing healing work around childhood, around the father specifically. But whatever this is, it's like you're taking your power back from something that has had a hold on you for a long time, and it's been keeping you in an old version of yourself. You're also taking the power out of some outside authorities' hands, and you're really getting back into your own power. And this is really beautiful what's coming through here. And again, it comes in that Emperor energy in reverse. It's like somebody was trying to control your dreams. And this could be somebody that's always tried to control your dreams, tried to control what was your path in life. It is coming through as kind of like an authoritarian figure, or something that you gave too much authority. It can even be like society's standards, okay? Or this is just what you do. And you're really breaking free from something here to recover a part of you that has been too repressed, that actually does need to be brought to the surface. Like you're showing somebody who you really are and what you really want to do. And you're not going to hold yourself back anymore. You're going to take the first step. It does lead to your dreams, right? What you really desire here. But it requires you let down your guard. So I do see you letting down your guard. You're not going to fend off opposition from other people's judgments anymore. You're just going to really believe in yourself and what you desire here. And you're going to take the action. And this is brewing right now. This is coming real soon. I feel in the fall, you're going to take a really strong action that transforms your reality. And at that time, I do feel as you move forward into this rebirth cycle, there is somebody here. This is that Hierophant character, you know. It's that same kind of energy, like somebody who's had too much authority is going to be trying to bargain with you to not head in this direction. But I feel like it's so essential that you don't delay, you know. It is really time that you move forward. And again, I like how the imagery has been really coming through here in this one about something being sort of made out to be bigger than it is. And you see how big the horse is that carries you forward. This is being back in your power. This is you moving forward. This is you accepting the endings because you're ready for the new beginnings. And here this figure that, or this institution, or this situation that used to have so much say so over you, now just doesn't have the ability to hold this back anymore. And a new journey begins. It's really beautiful. I want to take this card. I feel really strongly to take this card for you too, to see kind of more of that view up ahead. Ooh. Because you're no longer going to hide what's in your heart. You're going to let it be seen. And what's so beautiful about that is as soon as you let your heart be seen, that's exactly when you receive the dream. Godspeed.